charging infrastructure ties, because basically we are involved in this charging infrastructure. EPC contracting works in that one. So we're going to talk about it. And next thing is the glance to the policy point of view. Okay, so how the government is supporting and what kind of incentives are providing it up. Okay, so and how the states are taking it to the next level. All these things we are going to talk about it. Okay, so this is what every person will ask you questions like, how many of you are using electrical vehicles? This is only the question for yourself. Okay, so if you have anything, you can put it in the chat box, please. Okay, so a lot of people are attending the sessions, and how many people are using the electrical vehicles? Hardly very few people will be using it up. And how are you charging your electrical vehicles? Whether you are charging it in your household or you are charging it in some kind of a charging stations and all. Okay, so you have to answer to that one. So how you are doing that one? That's the answer is to yourself. And in the end of the session, we are going to ask all the things, repeat the same things in that, and we are going to try to find a solution for it. Okay, and next thing is that how much time it will take for the full charge. Okay, so the biggest problem with all these charging stations or whatever the charges which is given to you, the biggest problem is what's the time taken for it, because we don't have a time for it, right? And next thing, what is the problem with these electrical vehicles when it comes to some problematic situations like batteries, when it comes to the noiseless electrical vehicle rating, because you don't know whether the vehicle has been started or not. Okay, so what are the safety aspects of that one? So person who is owning an electrical vehicle, okay, so is going to share this kind of an experience at the end of the session. Okay, so keep these questions for yourself, and we are going to ask the same things in the end of the session. And if anyone is interested, you are going to answer to these questions in that. Okay, so let's quickly enter into this stuff. I hope Ms. Yasmin also had talked about it. We have to control the temperature. So basically my point is also the same thing. So we had a Paris Treaty Agreement. So in that one, we have committed for the 2 degrees temperature decrease by the end of the year 2030. So all these things, whatever we are going to do it up, like electrical vehicle charging stations, solar power plants, wind power plants. Okay, so biogas power generations, and even energy efficiency point of view. Okay, so whatever all these topics are there, everything is to reduce the temperature. Because everybody knows you're in Tamil Nadu, most of the people are in Tamil Nadu and Chennai, you know how it will be in the summer point of time. Okay, so we have to reduce our temperature so that in order to preserve our nature. So that's the main point over here. And next quickly, so these are the segments. Okay, so when you talk about this Paris Agreement Treaty and what are the things in that one, so these are the segments which have been taken for the safeguarding of our environment. So water preservation point of view, afforestation will be coming with the forestry. Buildings is nothing but the green building point of view, right? How efficiently you are building your, constructing your house so that you can use less amount of power and you're working on it, right? So energy efficiency, already existing things, how you are converting to energy efficient one. Just for this point of thing is LEDs, you can consider it as that one. And next thing is energy. Okay, so energy generation till the distribution point of view, how efficiently you are doing it up. That is also one of the segment. Next thing is renewables, solar, wind energy, and baggage points of view. So those are the renewables. Next thing is transportation point of view. Like you have, okay, so metro rails and all the things are there, but how it is powered and how we are going to reduce the dependency on the power supply over there. Okay, so next thing is the waste. Of course, everybody knows about it. Waste will be the very huge one. Every day we are throwing the waste in somewhere, and all these municipalities will come and pick it up where they are going to dump it. Whether you are going to use the same thing for the power generation point of view or use it for some other activities. Okay, so these are all the segments which are a part of the Indian National Action Plan for Climatic Change, which is called as NAPCC. Okay, so this is about all the segments. Okay, so right, so global EV market, we are going to see a small picture. Of course, a lot of people have already talked about it. Just have a peek of that one. Okay, so the global EV market is picking up in a faster way, but we are a little bit of a late groomers. We are picking it up in a little slower way here. Okay, so one more thing is that, of course, electric vehicles in India. Okay, so my hot favorite Hyundai Kona is on the top because I can travel almost 450 kilometers on a single charge. Okay, so which is in India right now, and there is also one more one which is yet to be launched, which will be traveling around 600 plus kilometers. Okay, so you can see the pricing of this one. So why I'm asking to see the pricing is because basically we are all business people. Okay, so when I talk about anything, any technology or anything, I have to think in the price point of view. One is the technology. Second thing is the quality, safety, and main and foremost thing is the price point. If you can see this electric vehicles. Okay, so what is the pricing of these electrical vehicles? And if you want to compare this pricing it to your normal Okay, so ICE engine based vehicles. Okay, you'll understand that point. Okay, so next thing I'm going to show you is that, okay, so what are the electrical vehicles? Of course, even Angela also talked about this one, hybrid electric vehicles. Okay, so hybrid is nothing but combination of two sources of fuel. Okay, so one may be hydrogen based and as well as electricity based or battery based. Okay, so it can be anything, two sources of fuel. And next thing is plug-in, is nothing but plugging into the socket where you are going to charge the battery by plugging in, or it can be charged on the go also by using another source of fuel. So next thing is the biggest one where we are focusing right now. Most of the companies, manufacturing companies are focusing on is the fully battery-based electrical vehicles. Those are called as the BEVs. Okay, so it doesn't require any other source of fuel, completely running on the batteries. Once you charge the battery, it will be running continuously. Okay, so the biggest problem is also we are going to discuss about this one. What is a problematic situation for the battery-based electrical vehicles? Okay, then so next thing is of course Miss Yasmin also talked about it. The cost of running is very less. Okay, so I've taken a simple example, a small calculation, so that everybody can see that one, how you are going to get benefit out of it. I'm not talking about the servicing point of view. It's only the mileage point of view. You can talk about Mahindra E2O model, which has a battery capacity of 16 kilowatt hour. That's full capacity. Okay, so but remember, you will not discharge 16 kilowatt hour battery. Okay, right? And the mileage, as per the manufacturer data sheet, is going to give it as commitment for the 120 kilometers it will be running on normal roads. Okay, and next thing is how many units it will consume, because we are charging it with electricity. Okay, so how many units it will take? It's a battery capacity 16 kilowatt hour. Obviously, it will take 16 units. And what is the charges? Because you are charging, so DISCOM is nothing but your electricity supply companies will be charging some amount. Okay, for the most of the states, the starting price is 6 rupees, and in some states it is 7 rupees. So I have taken the least one, 6 rupees per unit rate, 96 rupees for 120 kilometers. Okay, so when you compare it kilowatt hour, okay, with the vehicle point of view, I mean with the petrol point of view, okay, so per kilometer, okay, how much you are going to save it? Okay, you can see in the blue screen for the 120 kilometers range, how much it is going to cost you. Okay, so based on this, you can compare, okay, which is beneficial, either petrol based or, okay, electrical vehicle. Okay, so you can tell it to a lot of people also. You can show this as a small example and you can tell them. And one beauty of this one is if your battery capacity, okay, so is increased, like for a smaller battery capacity, if you are going to get a more mileage, then your price will come down. Okay, even for 1 rupee, 2 rupee also, you are going to run for 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers range. Okay, so that is why everybody are focusing more on the battery technologies. Okay, so charge at a single time and you can run it for a longer duration of time. Okay, so one day charging, you can go for 400, 500, 600 kilometers. Which will be fetching you all your daily needs. Okay, so done. You are going to save your petrol and you are going to save the nature. Okay, so this is a small example. You can construct based on this with the other vehicles also. Okay. And next thing is the policy point of view. Of course, a lot of things have happened already. So what is this policy and all? Okay, so right, in 2011 itself, we have started this electric mobility plan. But in 2013, it actually got implemented, NEMMP. Okay, so and after that, they have given some targets, like what should be the target for 2020. They said that, okay, 6 to 7 million electrical vehicles and as well as the hybrid electrical vehicles have to be sold in the market. Okay, so that has given a vision for that one. 2013, they have set a layout, and in 2015, the actual implementation started place. Okay, so 2015 it started place, but exact execution started in 2016. 16 to 18 was the time duration for it. Okay, so the first phase of it, which is called as a FAME policy. Of course, they already briefed about it. Okay, so faster adoption for the manufacturing of hybrid and electrical vehicles. Okay, so 2016 to 18 was the time duration for it, but it got extended for 1 year due to small glitch, because conversion of BS4 vehicles to BS6 vehicles, that was the biggest setback for all the automobile industry. Okay, so they have to shift their manufacturing capabilities to BS4 to BS6 norms. And at the same time, we have pushed it for the electrical vehicles. Yes, you have to do these norms also. So that has become a little bit of glitch in automobile industry too. That was a setback, little bit of coming down, of course, apart from other global factors, or whatever the Indian situation is considered. Okay, so this is one of the reasons here. Okay, so after that, what happened? All these electrical vehicles which are already launched, which is launched by Maruti, Ciaz is there, and as well as Mahindra Scorpio. Okay, so there are small electrical vehicles, hybrid vehicles which are launched. They have got it picking up, and they have seen the biggest movement at that time. Okay, and after that, of course, each and every state had come with their electrical vehicle policy. Okay, so like Karnataka is the first one, and after that, Delhi is also one of them. Maharashtra is there, Telangana is there, even Tamil Nadu is also there. All these states have come up with a specific policy in their state to boost up the manufacturing capabilities, adoption point of view. Basically, I mean to say supply and demand chain management. Okay, so which will also internally boost the jobs unemployment point of view also. Okay, so this is just a brief, and if you want to see the incentives which are given by the government point of view, right? Okay, so at the starting of this FAME policy, the GST on these all the vehicles and components was around 12%. Okay, so 18% basically. From there it has been reduced to 12%, and now 5% GST. And after that, any person who is purchasing an electrical vehicle, okay, so which is an authorized electrical vehicle, there are some unauthorized electrical vehicles which are non-registered with RI also are available in the market. Please be careful. Which are registered with RI certified modules, you are going to get 1.5 lakhs of tax exemptions. Whatever your GST, I mean, whatever your IT returns you are going to file. Okay, so 1.5 lakhs exemption is there. And FAME 1 policy has ended up in 2019, and from 2019, which is the starting session for the FAME 2 policy, you can see this one almost 10,000 crores had been allotted for it. Okay, so in that one, a lot of incentives. Two-wheelers, how much you are going to get it up. For four-wheelers, how much you are going to get it up. You can see on the left-hand side, right-hand side. Okay, but there is a limitation. Each and every two-wheeler you purchase is not eligible for subsidy. Okay, there is a price tag and there is a power tag. Okay, so each and every four-wheelers or even buses or even trucks, okay, there is a price tag and power tag is there. If it is matching those price and power details, then only you are going to get this subsidy. Suppose if I purchase Hyundai Kona, I want subsidy of this one, I want 5 lakhs. I won't get any kind of a subsidy because it is more than 15 lakhs. Hyundai Kona is costing me more than 20 lakhs. Okay, so this doesn't form into this subsidy point of view. So I'm not going to benefit out of it. Okay, so please ensure whenever you are going to opt for these subsidies and benefits, please make sure RI certification should be there and it should be within the range. Okay, so right, that's just a glance of this one. Okay, you can see the FAME policy, how it is. Okay, so how it has been implemented in the phase 1 and the phase 2. Phase 2 is in 2019, and phase 2 they have identified few things. Okay, so not only giving incentives to the people, but also they have to concentrate on demand and supply chain management and the electrical vehicle charging infrastructure side too. Okay, so they have made 3 main segments. Demand incentives, nothing but if you are purchasing something, I'm going to give you some other things. Apart from these incentives, you are going to get road tax exemptions. Okay, so right, some other things are there. Each and every state has different set of things. Okay, so another incentives to boost up. Next thing is charging stations. Biggest thing is the charging stations, because if I ride a petrol vehicle, IC engine vehicle, even if I go for 3-4 kilometers or 10 kilometers, I know the petrol bunk is there. Okay, so what about the charging stations? Okay, so if I go for 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, if I don't get any kind of a charging stations, then I'll be got struck. Okay, so then they started increasing these charging stations in that phase itself. Okay, so next thing is, okay, so public scheme and IEC activities is nothing but set of rules and guidelines. Charging stations are there, chargers are there, all these things, but you have to follow certain rules, norms, and guidelines. Okay, without this IEC certificate, basically it is nothing but an electrotechnical commission. Okay, so which is nothing but a set of guidelines you have to follow for each and every stage of manufacturing, or even for the execution point of view, or for the testing point of view. You have to follow certain norms. Just like for you guys, people who have studied the BTech, you have a certificate of BTech completion certificate, degree certificate is there. So this is also the same thing. It says that yes, IEC certificate is there. Okay, so it is following the standards, and I'm going to buy it. Okay, so that's a major reason for this. You can see the small amount of incentives or how this okay, technical committee has taken into the situations. You can see this one. Okay, so all these electrical vehicles. Okay, so who is going to form the regulations? Okay, so whatever the thing is there, like charging stations, when you talk about it, okay, how much power capacity of charging stations, what are the standards, okay, what should be harmonics. Harmonics will generally arise because each and every charging station DC to AC conversion is happening here. Okay, so in that case, what should be the harmonics and what should be the voltage fluctuations? Okay, all these things will come into picture. Who is going to take care of it? CEA, nothing but Central Electricity Authority. Okay, so go to their website, download all these documents. Okay, so which is a EV policy is there. So download it and see what are the things in that one. Okay, so if you want to set up any kind of a charging station, there are set of rules and guidelines. You cannot blindly put anywhere whatever I want. Of course, you have a provision for that one, but whenever you are collecting this into the electricity grid, you have to follow some rules and guidelines. Okay, so what are the safety standards are also specified in CEA. There's nothing but whenever you are connecting, of course, small charging station is there, you have to connect it to 230 volt. And charger should be above 800 mm from the ground level. And chargers should be compatible with less than 120 volts of output to the electric vehicle. So there are some safety requirements. It had to follow it. Okay. So, and next thing is the standards. Okay. So each and every charger, okay, so and charging station will follow some guidelines. Okay. So 61851, which basically tells that how you have to install the charging station. What are the basic requirements? What are the guidelines for it? Okay. So all these things will be specified. Okay, so it's starting from the power requirement to the what kind of a cable you have to use, okay, and cable should be of what quality and all the things you have to use it here. Okay, so due to the time lag, I'm not explaining in detail in all these things, but of course, if we have any other session which is organized by them, okay, so we are going to talk about in detail about these things. Okay, so what are the connectors we are going to talk about? Charging stations, all the things have IEC tag on it. So follow the IEC tags. Okay, so right, next thing is the communication point of view. When you talk about the electrical vehicle to the charging station, it had to know certain things, right? But the battery is charged, fully charged, or what is the percentage of charge? Now, what kind of a charging I have to give? Whether it is a boost charge or floating charge, okay, so or a trickle charging, what kind of a charging I have to give it up? And what should be your display? Okay, either it may be your mobile display or it may be your electrical display inside the electrical vehicle. Okay, so what are the standards to be followed for that one? And next thing comes with the communication point of view. When you are communicating with your vehicle, what are the voltage standards? Because whenever the communication is there, anything is there, it's only the voltage and current and as well as the signals point of view. What is the frequency of the signals? Okay, so we have to follow these standards. Okay, so slow, fast, medium charging, and one more thing is the flash charging. I'll show you in a glance how it looks like. Okay, so these are the standards. Okay, so if you want a copy of that one, this will be available in CEA website, Central Electricity Authority. You can download all these guidelines. Okay, this is a huge book. Okay, so this is not a 5-page or a 6-page document. It's a very lengthy book. You have to go through all these things. Okay, so that's a very beautiful concept. Okay, so next thing is the testing and verification. Okay, so I told you, right, RI. Okay, so right, so whenever you have a vehicle that should be certified by RI. Okay, so you have one condition: two-wheelers or even electric bicycles. Okay, so which are not certified by RI should have a speed limit less than 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, so that was one regulation. Okay, so whenever you are purchasing any vehicle, okay, see this RI certificate is there or not, and what are the conditions for it. Okay, so RI certificate is not like, yeah, I have RI certificate, I can purchase anyone. Okay, so look into it. That is going to crack your minds, because once you deep dive it, you will have a lot of concept in that one. Okay, so RI looks very simple on a certificate, but when you go too deep, you have a lot of things in this thing. Okay, so and next thing is, once you set up a charging station, who are the persons who are going to come and visit? Because you are connecting it to the local grid, the electricity department people, or nothing but the DISCOMs are going to come and see and inspect all the things. Okay, so they are going to give you a certificate. Yes, this is as per the norms. Then your charging station installation will be completed. Until then, you have to wait. Okay, so and what are the voltage levels to connect it also? It will be specified: 230 volts, 440, 11 kV, 33 kV. Okay, so as per these guidelines which are given by the CEA, and also you can see this one in DHA, Department of Heavy Industries. Okay, so in that website also you can see this stuff. Okay, so whenever you are installing a charging station, there are some things which is called as, where should I place my charging station? Okay, location of the charging stations is your will and wish, but only thing you have to see it as, one charging station is there within the 3 kilometers radius. You should not install another charging station of same specifications. Okay, you can use another specs, not a problem, but you should not use with the same specs. Okay, when you are riding on the highway, that should be 25 kilometers within the 2 charging stations. Okay, so right, so you have to follow these guidelines whenever you are setting it up. And basically, one point, whenever you are setting any charging station, okay, it should be visible to everyone, and you should have electrical infrastructure available, 240 volts or 450 volts, or it may be 11 kV or 33 kV. if these electricity lines are nearby you, then only go for the application. Okay, so the application is also available in your local DISCOM websites, and in TEDA also it is available. Okay, so download that form, fill it, and if you want to install any charging station, give it to the DISCOM people first, then it will process automatically on you. Okay, so of course that is not that easy, whatever I'm saying, because we also faced. Okay, so that will take a little longer time. Okay, so right, and this is of things which is a policy which is stated by the government. Okay, so first phase and second phase they have divided it. Okay, starting from 2019 onwards, PCI is nothing but public charging stations, public charging infrastructure. Okay, what is my focus area first? Mega cities. Okay, so first they are focusing on mega cities. They are going to set up the charging stations with their own funding, and as well as some okay, public funding is also available here, right? So with that funding, they are going to test it in the mega cities in a few locations, and based on the study of that one, how they are going to participate and how they are reacting. Okay, so next thing is it is going to implement it in small areas, like it may be state capitals, or it may be your rural areas and semi-urban areas. All these things they are going to talk about it here. Okay, so first phase is already implementing. So people who want to do the business, now you have to target with this, the second phase. Okay, so people who are in the business field. Okay, so you can have your employment opportunities in your own village also. Okay, so right, so this is what the thing, mega cities first target. Next thing is small capitals, and as well as the urban areas, semi-urban and rural areas are the things. Okay, so I'm just going to take a glance of Karnataka EV policy. Of course, because Tamil Nadu policy is also there, but there are some, okay, here and there some things are there which are demand and supply management point of view. Some points are not yet clear. Okay, so I'm going to show you this Karnataka policy, just a brief. Okay, so these are the incentives for the demand side. Basically, if you are setting up a charging stations and all, okay, so what kind of incentives you are going to get it up on the right side, you can see it up. Okay, so and they have also planned, just like Tamil Nadu had planned for the 10,000 EVs, Karnataka also planned for the same thing. By 2030, they are saying it will become 100% electric, 100% vehicles will be running on the electricity. Okay, so we have to wait and watch, because due to the COVID impact point of view. Okay, and remember one thing, people who are purchasing three-wheelers, okay, make sure that your state allows running of three-wheelers in your city. Okay, because some of the national highways are there where the movement of slow-moving vehicles are not allowed. Okay, so please make sure whenever you are purchasing this one, if your state or if your city has this policy, please ensure with the local people at the time of purchase itself. Okay, so that is also one of the problem with the Bangalore. Slow moving vehicles or the small autos should not be running on the national highways in Bangalore. Okay, so please make sure that your state doesn't have this concept here. Okay, so right, and next thing is that supply side incentives. Okay, so like whenever you want to establish any kind of a manufacturing plant, or you want to establish a servicing plant, what are the incentives which are provided by the government? Apart from the incentives, if you want to set up anything, they are going to give you funding also. Okay, so like EESL is there. They have a good amount of what you can say business model. Okay, suppose you have an open land which is near to your highway or near to the airports. If you have a land and it is not used at all, you can give it to EESL for a rental basis. They are going to set up a charging station. They are going to maintain on their own. Okay, so this is a policy which I also worked with them in Telangana, but due to COVID, we are facing a shortfall. But yes, they are working all over India level. Okay, so empty lands, empty plots which are near to the highways or which are near to the roads where the electrical infrastructure is there. Okay, you can directly approach EESL, Energy Efficient Services Limited, in your area and ask them, so I have an open land, will you be interested to set up any charging station in that? Okay, so don't take for 100 yards is there, 200 yards area is there, I'll set up a charging station. You should have huge amount of space, at least for a period of half acre is there. Yes, we are going to do that one. Okay, so this is a kind of an incentives, how they are going to give it up, how much funding they are going to give it up. Like, okay, so this is a small thing. Okay, and next thing is the main topic. Okay, so we are going to quickly finish it off, because I hope I have taken it as a lot much of time here. So first thing is charging infrastructure. When you talk about the charging infrastructure, two things here. People maybe as a business people or a normal consumer also, you have to talk about as a charging point of view. Next thing is the swapping. Okay, so charging means you can charge your vehicle. Okay, so whether it may be AC charging or the DC charging, two things are there. I'll show you the pic, how it looks like onboard charger and offboard charger meaning is. Okay, so next thing is battery swapping. Okay, so just like you have your cylinders, gas cylinders in your house, right? Each and every 1 or 2 months, they will come and they replace that cylinder. Okay, so you are the owner of the cylinder, but not in a particular cylinder. They will come and replace each and every time. So this is also the same thing, battery swapping. Okay, so you can go to any swapping station. Fastly, they will remove the battery, then replace with the other batteries. Because the charging, if you think that it takes time, okay, so it doesn't support fast charging. Okay, your electrical vehicle doesn't support fast charging or a flash charging. You have to go for the battery swapping ones. Change it on the way very fastly, and you can go for the longer time. Okay, so 2 models are there, and one thing is that recently government has approved, even the cabinet has approved one thing: electrical vehicles without batteries. Okay, sale of electrical vehicles without batteries has been approved by the cabinet. Okay, so we are waiting for the bill to pass. Once it is passes, you can purchase any vehicle. Okay, without batteries, because battery will occupy 40 to 60% of the cost of the vehicle. Okay, and you can customize your battery. Okay, and you can install the battery on your own, or you can take it on a lease basis also, the batteries. Okay, so right, so this is the point. One is charging, next thing is swapping. Okay, so onboard charging is nothing but, you can see this one, DC to AC conversion will happen inside the vehicle. That is the meaning of onboard charger. Okay, okay, so right, offboard charger means the charging station will supply DC power supply directly into your battery. Okay, so there is a difference between these two. Onboard means the DC to AC conversion is happening inside the vehicle. That is the main difference between this onboard and offboard charger. Basically, you can say that one DC charger or AC charger, simply. Okay, so right, so these are the types of chargers. Okay, slow charger, fast charger, and rapid chargers. Okay, so right, so these are the power capacities for each and every charger. Slow chargers are nothing but where you can install in your house also, and in small apartments or small places, which is a very small equipment, which doesn't even take 1 meter by 1 meter area also. You can install, you can do your business on your own. That's not a big deal. And it is available less than 60,000 rupees. These are all there. Everything, including the infrastructure, will cost you less than 60,000 rupees. You can install and you can enjoy. Okay, and next thing is a little bit of fast chargers. These have to be placed where the electrical infrastructure is good, where you are going to use 440 volts line here, because 7 kilowatt will come into 440 volts line. Okay, so you are going to set up for the 4-wheelers or 3-wheelers, slightly higher capacity modules here. Okay, so which will take around 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 to 6 hours of charging duration. Next thing is the rapid chargers, which is a very huge network. Okay, fast charging within half an hour or within 60 minutes, you are going to charge your electrical vehicle. Okay, fast chargers, you definitely need 11 kV lines. Okay, so rapid chargers 11 kV lines, fast chargers 440 volts lines, slow chargers you need only 230 or 240 volt lines. Okay, so this is the main difference between all these things. Next thing is how the socket looks like. Okay, so this is a look of the socket. Okay, so electrical vehicle chargers looking will be in this fashion. Okay, so there are a lot of standards. Okay, so you can see this Japanese standard. Okay, you can see the European, German, even Chinese standards also you can see over here. Okay, so these are all lot of standards which are available in the market. Okay, so looking into all these things. Okay, so which one do I have to take? Okay, just like your mobile, if your charger pin is compatible with your mobile only, you can charge. So these are all the vehicles which come with the compatible chargers. So you have to see which is a compatible charger over here. Okay, so for this thing, all these models. Okay, Government of India has come up with one thing. Okay, so you can use these chargers. One is a CCS. Okay, so combined charger. Next thing is CHAdeMO, which is a Japanese charger. Next thing is Type 2, and the last one, which is called as a Made in India concept, Bharat AC and DC chargers. This is for the slow charging and the fast charging. Voltage levels and how many chargers you have to set up is the minimum requirement. Okay, so anybody who is interested to set up a business, okay, so near to the highways or on the highway roads, which is the public charging infrastructure, very big setup, you have to follow these guidelines. Or if you want to, if you don't have any money, if you are financially, you are not strong and you want to set up only the small chargers, that is your wish. Okay, provided one condition, within 3 kilometers to 3 kilometers radius, you should not use the same technology. That's only the one condition over here. Okay, so this is how it looks like the charger. Okay, so there is a LED bar status which is there on the top, where it will show you whether the charger is working or not. Okay, so just like your TV power button is on or not, it will show you the screen. VFD screen will show you, okay, so what is the power consumption, how much duration, how much time period and all, it will show you in this stuff. Next thing is RFID tag. Basically, all these chargers will come with a swipe. okay, or a tag. Okay, so whenever you place that one on this RFID tag, then only it will start charging your vehicle. Once your charging is completed, again you have to put it on that one RFID tag, it will stop charging. Okay, so it is automatic on this one. Next thing is plug holder, of course, for keeping that charger. Power cord, which is water cooled or a liquid cooled one. Water cooled is not allowed as of now. Liquid cooled, which is basically silicone cooling, is available as of now. Okay, so next thing is access panel on all the things which are available in this here. Okay, for the business people, making of this frame or outer bodies and getting the electronic components is a good business model. Okay, so if anybody is interested in this one segment, yes, a lot of electrical vehicle charging station charger manufacturers are there, but they require this setup. One is outer body, outer frame, which can be compatible with them, and as well as the electronic components which are included in this. Okay, so right, so this is how the charging station in Bangalore at the time of working, people were working. So it looks like this. Okay, you can see that right hand side, the small box, small dabba is there. There is a 25 kilowatt charger. Okay, and left hand side you can see this one, there is 50 kVA chargers. These are fast chargers. Okay, so this is just similar to your petrol bunk where the vehicle will come and it will go on the same fashion. Okay, so it looks like this, one charger with multiple charging guns, whichever is compatible with your vehicle at the time of purchase of the vehicle. Basically, I'm talking about four-wheelers, because two-wheelers, it will automatically come where you will be charging in your household itself. Three-wheelers also, same thing, compatible ones are there, but four-wheelers, please ensure what type of charger it is going to support it. Okay, so this is one looks like, and the latest charging technologies, which we talk about the small things. Next thing is the next advanced level, which are already there in the abroad countries, wireless chargers. Okay, so Tesla is one of the models which is already using this one. Next thing is on-the-go chargers, which is nothing but just like your metro rail. On the top of this one, Pentagon will be there. It will be charging and it will be running on that one. So these roads are constructed where you have overhead lines. Whenever your vehicle is going, okay, so your pantograph will join those lines and it will start charging on the go. 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers of line, so you don't need to stop anywhere. Charge it and on the go. Okay, so next thing is flash charging, which is in India by 2023. ABB has said that yes, they are going to launch it. I don't know, the time frame might be delayed as of now, but yes, the prototype is done and already it is in there. Okay, so they are testing it. Okay, within less than 30 seconds of time, they are going to charge the heavy bus. Okay, whatever the bus stations are there, the first thing they are going to do it in Pune, I guess. Okay, so Pune to Mumbai highway is there. So there they are doing it up. Okay, whenever the bus comes in a bus bus station, it will be there for at least for 30 seconds to 1 minute. At that time itself, this bus will be charged from the supply. Less than 30 seconds, the entire capacity of the bus will be charged. That is an awesome technology. You can see the video of this one, ABB and Ashok Leyland flash charging. Less than 30 seconds, automatic. Okay, so this is the one. And the people, because basically I'm a business person, so I have to talk about the business point of view here. So this is the one, if anybody wants to do the business and all the things, right? So even for the job point of view also, which is a priority segment, you can choose there and enter into that field. Because it just started in India. We are a little bit late groomers. Okay, so battery is the first and foremost priority for your jobs point of view and all. Even Tamil Nadu has got 3 battery manufacturing stuff. One is started by the Ather, which is still under construction. Then one more thing is by Saudi company. I hope that is Housan or something is there. Next thing is by BHEL. Okay, so these 3 are the companies, lithium ion battery manufacturing. I don't know the capacities, but BHEL capacity is very huge. Okay, so that is very big capacity. So get started with it in your lone locality itself. You are going to get these manufacturing plants. So jobs are plenty, but be ready for it. They need the right candidate. Okay.
Today's